So
we're
going live right now, and so I'm just gonna say at the beginning, I think that I think it buffers before 7. I don't think it's streaming right now, and we got 2 minutes to check if it's streaming. But
we have a minute and 8 seconds.
It literally says live.
It says live, you guys, and
it
has a timer.
Is that timing going faster than normal seconds?
Whoa!
What?
Oh, there it goes.
What? Oh.
Yeah. All right.
Oh my God! It does buffer.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And then it just starts.
Let's just start then. Well,
Happy
hey,
Halloween.
Happy Halloween, everyone. We're streaming
Yeah.
on the holidays, but we're here to chat, and we got our agenda. Sabian, you want to kick us off? Can you see the agenda? Oh wait, you can't because I added 2 new items. Well, I guess if you're watching the stream, you can.
Oh,
but
yeah.
first, let's just check out the direction channel. We'll go check out. Oh, nice. Some gifts. Cool. What's up?
So when you pull up the direction channel, ignore all the massive amount of memes.
So the only new thing that we have is introduction discussion channel for getting new people involved. So we have the introduction channel, and I guess if someone wants to chat with someone from the introduction channel, where do they kind of, call them out on?
Introduction discussion.
Oh, that's where we need the threads.
Yeah, so that's what Sabian's pitching. I think that's a good idea, but yeah, I think honestly, if Discord just added threads, that would solve our problem.
Yeah.
Dude, I know, right?
Why actually don't they do threads? This is so annoying.
It's gonna
That's
be
the
in the
one
next
thing.
update or
That is
something.
like the biggest thing on the roadmap that people are
What's
voting on.
stopping them? Is the technology not here?
I don't know.
Oh,
I
it's
don't know.
there. I'm assuming they'd have to rework their entire models in their database, and then they'd have to lose a fuck ton of data.
Potentially. Unless you can't
Potentially.
thread yeah.
Can't they just make it like an opt-in?
I don't think it's that difficult, and I don't think they'll have to redo all their models. I think it's literally like if this is like not stupid, which maybe it's good if it's stupid. It's literally just they already have an array of all these emojis I can put on them, so they can easily put an array of comments that are the exact same. It's the exact same thing. It's just okay. Let anyone do this, and just keep an array of it.
And they have structures of like they have like people being tagged as different ranks and stuff already, so you could technically add like multiple data items to like an existing item. Technically. Yeah.
Is it trademarked by anything? Like that could be
No.
one
Threads?
thing. I doubt it, but
I don't think Slack would trademark threads
Yeah.
out of all things.
I mean that's like Slack's a big competitor though.
True.
By the way, Suze is here, the resident designer. I'm on this week.
Crickets chirping.
Nice.
Crickets.
Nice.
No one cares.
Oh, did you see the other thing I added to direction?
Specific.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's like, I'm guessing that was driven from the discussion with Tobias.
Correct.
Well, what'd you tag in there? What'd you tag that he got pinged on?
Hatchling.
He should be moved out of that, or
He should have been a developer, but at the same time, I almost think it's. I feel like it's a recurring issue that some people can't turn off notifications for specific roles. Like I feel like it's set up so that we should be able to do that, but at the same time, I don't know, man.
I feel like I feel like this suggestion's really just fighting against how Discord works. If I do an @everyone, okay, cool, everyone gets a notification. So this whole opt-in for notification doesn't work. You can just go here and can't you?
Isn't it the @channel thing?
Well, you can go to channels and you can edit the channel and mute them, right?
No, but if you do @channel, does it only do channel members and
No,
not
it's
everybody?
right click. You just right click and you can you can server mute. And you can do server settings. So there's quite a bit of stuff that I think people don't know about. So I think I'm not saying no that we don't do it. I'm just confused when I tag someone in notification and they want iOS discussion. Why did they put their interest as iOS if they don't want iOS notifications? Just turn your notifications off.
Yeah, you got a good point there.
It's just a not understanding of Discord, and I feel like we really need to work on this and solve all this before people get in the Discord, and that's how this needs to. We just need to retroactively think about this for the the website. When people join, we need to say, hey, make sure you're checking out notifications and that stuff. I mean, Discord's not the best user experience coming into it. It's really overwhelming. That's why we reduced the amount of channels they see when they first get in, and it may be confusing, and it's confusing for some people because, you know, they haven't put introductions, and I see eggs messaging in game or that stuff that haven't given an introduction or haven't really joined and unlocked all the channels, but they're still talking in there, so it's not obvious, or maybe I'm missing something.
Yeah, because it's like hard to know where to go and like what all the channels mean. Like, okay, yeah, I might know what web is, but also there's like website, but like, you know, it could be easy to miss something just beyond Discord, which hopefully the website solves that issue.
Yeah. And where'd you post the message, just in general?
Let me check.
Interest or no, I think it might have been general.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I've posted so many messages today.
It's like he doesn't work.
Whoa. So? Okay,
right.
searching by @hatchling does not work, in fact.
Let's just move on. So we'll look into that. I think we should do an introduction channel, and we should also do this. Where's the rare siren?
Oh, visual description. I've been
Rare
wanting.
siren. We gotta get this done soon.
I've been wanting to do that.
And Sabian, are you moderating the YouTube for messages?
Watching the chat?
Yes.
There is nothing.
Okay, cool. Just because I'm not looking at it.
There's probably no one.
Except for my upvote. My upvote is there.
That's nice.
Sweet. All right, cool. Okay, so let's move on to active projects then. I think that's all for direction, unless anyone has a last minute idea for direction. No?
I got nothing.
Cool. Doesn't work like that. So active projects. Let's just go to the website. Sabian, why don't you give your little spiel on the website? I see, you know, a recent PR merge right here.
You see, you buffered the video, so I'm a minute behind. Hold on.
Well, it's just in the active projects website channel.
Oh, yeah. I see what you're going for.
I mean, yeah. Just the last thing updated was for me. It was adding quite a bit of this. I think I talked about this on a little one. We've been kind of behind on the web because Will's been AFK or MIA, as he said. He's been kind of busy, so that's fine. But in the meantime, while that's happened, I gotten the API up. I've tested all of it, and that's gotten merged in. I've also started OL Go, which is the Android, I didn't start the Android one, but it's the Android and iOS app name. But I started the iOS one, and it's for SwiftUI. So that one has actual register, login, and logout right now, just for demo purposes, not like functionally working, but not like, you know, logging in or anything like that. I mean, it registers and logs you into the server, but no UI change or anything like that. So
those who don't know, is that stand for oneleif Go?
Yeah.
Awesome.
So OL Go is just oneleif Go, and Go just I mean, it's
Like
kind
Pokemon
of
Go.
It's kind of a continued meme from Pokemon Go, but at Parshav and I our work, we had an app for a bank that was something Go. So it's just kind of a meme now, I guess. But no, it just it refers to Go as like mobile. Or...
I like how we took the Microsoft approach, where they like prefix everything with 2 letters. We're OL instead of their MS.
Is that a Microsoft approach? I thought that was just general anything.
Yeah, because even like
If we go
Microsoft
NS
is just the one that I like associate
NS
that
object, UI object, you like all those, yeah.
I'm talking like the company name, I guess, is what I'm referring to. But anyways, so yeah, I think the biggest things that we've gotten done is like continuing the API so that we have a generalized post data object that allows you to make a blog post, a video post, etc. Basically includes things like, you know, the last time you edited the post, the title of it, the description. That way we can put it on whatever page. We also created PAW requests, or I guess just an HTML request that allows you to basically know the format of the request that you're sending. So if you want to make your own front end, you know the exact type of request and the body that you need to send with it.
Yeah, it's PA and Postman. So if you have either one of those applications, most likely you have Postman, you can just use that to see all the requests and what's the request and what's the response.
Ooh, we should add a swagger if we could. That'd be pretty cool.
I'll look into that.
That'd be
Yeah.
pretty dope.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Swagger would let us do the same stuff that Postman and Paul do, but on the web.
We should also get
Add a swagger.
somewhat
idea.
unrelated, but one swag should. Or swag.
It's related because
Oh my god, yes, one swag. Hold on, let me put that in
Needs to
direction.
be rebirthed.
Damn, that's quite a tangent, but okay.
A little bit, but we
All
got
right,
there.
so moving on from active projects.
Wait, is Swift UIKit technically an active project? Or
Not yet, not yet. It's
Okay.
kind of just a side project to talk about, interest. But so Corlane, we got crickets. Hyperion, don't know what
love
to
it.
say there. Hyperion had some really good discussion on earlier on the FizzBuzz. You can see, scroll through. There's quite a bit.
I like his idea though of like showing like why his language would be good for certain algorithms.
Yeah, I reacted
I'm-
to it, but I don't know how to write in his language to make it 100%. I don't have a compiler, and I don't know that. So, I mean, I'm going to take notes from him, and then when I feel more comfortable, I'll write it. But all he wrote was just, a switch statement. So, do I just return, you know what I mean? Kind of like that stuff of, I'm just trying to understand it more, and I have work at 9 a.m.
And it is hard to wade through all of the documentation, I suppose.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it would be great to have a meeting voice chat about it because text is so hard. When to describe something, maybe I want you to look at 2 links and I don't want to send 2 links and type a paragraph, but I want to screen share and show you what I'm talking about. But I don't know. We'll have to check on this and start getting some meetings going because I would love to get in some voice chat and actually talk about this, but it's really just badminton back and forth or pong, just all right, I shared this, what do you think? I mean, it was really good when we had the example and we could all ask questions and understand
Does
it.
he have it in GitHub?
Yes, but it's all documentation for the language.
Oh.
There is a metric fuck ton of documentation and it's awesome. I almost don't have the motivation to read through it, I guess. So it's probably on me rather than him. But a compiler would make it much more useful so I could just start playing with it,
Mm.
That would be quite
But I know a compiler is kind of overkill until you know what you want to do with the language.
Is his idea to write a compiler though? I guess, of course.
I assume his idea is to finish the language at some point, but it's kind of in the
Idea stage.
idealization stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a fair point.
Ideation.
Is that the
There
word?
you go. Thank you. Sorry, the word.
I got you.
TIL. No.
All right. So we'll follow up with that. Moving on. You got a new repo up for Swift, the OL website, Swift UI. Like I said, it only has 3 buttons right now, and it's just register, login, and logout. But it works with the API website, so
That's nice.
Cool.
it's ready to at least have 2 phases of logged out and logged in.
Ship it.
Yes, I actually have a ship it. So if you do want to say that,
When we're ready.
we got it. I think that's mainly all. We don't have anything for the itch game jam right
When's
now.
the last update on that, by the way?
Honestly, I think we should probably remove that. I was super excited about it, and then we never did anything with it. That's probably my fault. When even is it? Oh my god.
That was quick.
Oh.
Let me go Google
there
itch.
it goes.
Okay, well that was quick. It's like
All right,
You don't
moving
need it.
on.
It's fine.
Yeah, there we go. Perfect.
Hey.
Wayne State video.
All right, so now we have the Wayne State. So Sabian, you want to touch on this for a little bit to give them some context of Wayne
Yeah, definitely.
State?
So, we are from Nebraska in the United States. Wayne State University is a college that's in Nebraska, and they invited us out to come give some speeches on oneleif. We took a video of the speech that we gave to them. The majority of it is mostly about what oneleif is, followed by a lot of conversation about how to do good at interviews, how to prep yourself. I think that was the majority of the discussion was about interviews. There was a little bit about game development. Yeah, man. So we'll upload the video to the oneleif YouTube. Feel free to watch it.
Yeah.
It should be about an hour long.
That's pretty cool.
It was cool.
Lots of good information in there.
This one specifically was a talk with ACM chapter or club.
American Computer Machinery.
Yeah, we had them at UNO,
Yeah,
ACM,
okay.
that stuff. So I think it's national. I'm pretty sure it's a
Yeah, it's a
club.
national college club that's focused on programming.
So it was really cool to give a talk, and there's quite a bit of people there. But yeah, no, we'll get that up. I think it was great. We gave some great advice on interviewing and also resume building, but other things like kind of just preparing yourself and getting ready for 5 years, or understanding what school will deal you and what cards you may have to find on your own. But yeah, no, we'll push that up soon.
It was good that they were like tech-based students too, because then you guys could get technical and they'd understand and they could learn from past experiences we've had.
Yeah, because the first talk we gave was more of a business talk, and we didn't record that one, but that was more of how we are going about going for nonprofit status and kind of how we get people or how we market or anything like that. So it was a really big difference of talks, but yeah, we got the one that's technical. So
really good kids.
Is there any people who are interested in joining?
Oh yeah, we had tons of people join, so we can check the start channel really quick to kind of see when they all did. So I know, I think
or intros.
This was definitely all these people. I think were in it. Yeah, because
Maybe him too.
Dude, we somehow had somebody from Wayne State join with the exact same first name and last name for one of the guys that I work with, and it wasn't him. I went and checked, and I was like, "Whoa, what are the
That
odds?"
is so
That's funny.
crazy.
that's weird. So,
But so by the way, I have one side note on the Wayne State presentation. The one thing I think we forgot to include is the necessity to learn how to debug code.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Like learning how to step through code and whatnot is like a large portion of what you're doing when you get to a new project that's already started.
That's a good point. I think that's tough.
Anyways.
Though. It's like really tough, and I don't want to just. I mean, you can't just say debug code and move on. So like debugging in general is really tough because it's problem like specific, but in general for debugging, I mean, I think everyone has the idea of print statements and kind of understanding where it's getting to and what's the values, but I think the better part of debugging is actually using the debugger. And a lot of people don't understand how to use the debugger or breakpoints, but I would highly advise if you're using almost any IDE, it most likely has a debugger and breakpoints in it, and you can use the debugger to step through your code line by line and understand the output or where it's going or the stack or the stack trace. Yeah. But yeah, I like to gloss over it a little. I don't want to touch on it too much, but maybe I think we'll put it as a note on, kind of debugging tips and that stuff, because I'm so used to how to debug in Xcode. When I go to Unity, I can still debug. It's just kind of different. But I can still go through and step through the code, and like Omar's project for the pathfinding, kind of finding that infinite loop, I could go into the debugger, put breakpoints, and I could step through the code, and I found exactly the values, and I found everything. I didn't have to print anything because it was really annoying. It didn't print anything. Yeah. It was weird. But yeah, so I think we should talk on that, Sabian, if you want to make a note for direction or that stuff. I think we should
I added you.
Try to start writing weekly blogs, maybe.
That'd be good.
Maybe if we all, kind of like the weekly streaming, if we all work on a Medium article or something like that, just to get a blog out for like 3 different snippets or just a little bit of different tips or like weekly stuff. But I'll put that down under direction, unless you want to.
I put it in Twitter PR.
Okay, cool. So moving on, is there anything else for that discussion? Or I got Swift UIKit on here, Sabe.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, cool. So I started a little project, and ignore the bugs. I think that's just fake. I think it's fake news. So I started a little project just to use at work and to use open source for other things. But this is full UIKit project. So yeah, whoa. It's not Swift UI. It's inspired by Swift UI, but it works on iOS 9. So it's kind of like old style like UIKit, but it looks very similar. But I'd just like to touch on it a little because regardless of if you're using Swift UI or not, yeah, here I'll show you the view. Oh. So this is what it looks like. Yeah, nice that. If you're using SwiftUI or not, like just starting, if you're starting on mobile, Android or iOS, or maybe even web, it seems like, quite a bit of stuff is switching from imperative and going to declarative. Yeah. So I'm starting to switch over to like this, even in my professional kind of code, and kind of switching my whole style. So using this really kind of speeds up how to write, such verbose code, like let label, okay, now give it text, and now where is it, and now set up all the constraints, and it's a little bit too much. So now I know a lot of other people are switching this, but just kind of understanding, and I touched on this a little bit at the Wayne talk, I think, the Wayne State talk, was that really anything that you look at UI-wise is broken up into just components of text, space, stuff that contains, and then like buttons and other things like that. So just kind of even doing the old style UIKit, if you want to get into like iOS development or that stuff, it's good to use this for old style UIKit. But I mean, there's so many different ways to do it, where you can do it all in Storyboard or that stuff. But going over to Kotlin, I know with Jetpack Compose coming out recently, I think we talked about that last week, that like I think most everything is kind of switching to this declarative syntax of, it makes more sense to have a vertical stack and then a horizontal stack, so I can do this because everything's vertical, and then this element is just a horizontal stack that has a spacer. It's a lot easier to think that, but then also like compartmentalize or like component, anything like that is, if I want to take this out, if this is a header view, then all it is just, okay, cool, this V stack right here, just bring it out, and that's my header view, or this V stack. So just that's a quick little project. I'm gonna keep working on this, so it might become an active project. Almost guarantee it probably will be, because there's been quite a bit of updates since this picture was taken, and I will use it for my work. But yeah, no, I just like to touch on it a little. I'm interested if we can get other stuff like this. I don't know if it'd be beneficial for you at all. Like, I took some inspiration from Kotlin on some of these things, like the configure function. But I don't know, Sabian, do you think that you could make something like this for Unity to do some UI layouts or anything?
We talked about this a while ago, and I would absolutely love to do it. You can access all of the UI functionality from code. So I'd love to make something like this. The only thing that I'm aware of that's even moderately close is called UGUI, and it allows you to dynamically set anchors. But it doesn't have like VStacks and HStacks for grouping and setting constraints very well.
Yeah. I
So
guess
having like pre-built components would be super nice. Sorry for interrupting.
Oh, no. I was just, I know this is going to catch up in a little bit, but I'm just showing you kind of the core of the fundamental that I got inspired was embedding a view inside of a view. Like, if I have a blank view and I want an embedded view inside of a view, all I need is really like padding for that, and then I just kind of extend it out to the furthest reaches, and then just VStack and HStack for organizing. So I don't know if you can break it up into that, but with anchors and that stuff, it sounds very similar to kind of how I'm doing with top anchor, just constrained to that. So I mean, I would definitely expect that you could, and I would love to see it. That would be like a really cool way to mess with it. But yeah, no, we'll see, and this will probably definitely be an active project soon.
Sorry to interrupt, but you may want to zoom in because it's a little hard to read, even at a decently high resolution.
What's your resolution?
Oh, mine's at auto. I'm sorry. I just need to hard set the resolution.
What's the discardable result?
Oh, so discardable results let you use the return without giving a warning that you're not using the return. So it's mainly used to reduce warnings. But some of these actually don't have discardable results, and it's my assumption that you shouldn't ever use this. I don't think it's these. I think all these. I forget. But yeah, that's just not to complain about it. But yeah, I have like safe area and that stuff for managing that. But all you do is just wrap the safe area view around any view you want that's safe area. So yeah, cool.
What's your idea with the state management?
So the state management's really interesting.
Core.
And I will probably go RX Swift, and that is only because I want to keep iOS 9 support.
Yeah.
I know that sucks, but I have two other options, and I've thought about this for a little bit, and I'm curious of what you guys think, is either redrawing the views every single time with new data, and that determines something, or doing like closure updates for, sending notifications for specific views that update. So like every view could have their own notification or something like. But then it's either I go notifications with Notification Center and be dependent on that. I'm trying not to be dependent, but it's an iOS only project. It's using UIKit.
Yeah, I would avoid that.
So I don't know. I have a few options, but right now I'm gonna worry about lists.
Yeah.
That's kind of my big worry is, okay, cool, I have this like header and blah, 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 but to, make a list down here and scroll through it, I'm going to start adding that. And my goal is to add this cleanly. Technically, you don't need any returns. If you write it nice, you don't need any returns.
Implicit?
Well, so Swift 5.1 came out where it's like, okay, you don't need returns for a one-line.
Implicit returns.
Yeah. But this is not 5.1. And Swift, I forgot when, but at least, Swift 5 or Swift 4.2 or whatever allows you to do one-line returns in a closure. Mm-hmm. So technically I can get rid of these, and this is Swift I'm running. So it's weird, but yeah, no, that's all I'm going to touch on for that.
Definitely pretty clean.
Yeah, but no, I'd definitely love to see you start on it, Sabian, because that would be... It's just so much easier to write. I hate saying, okay, I have this view, and okay, it takes up the whole screen except for some padding, and then I have this view that's in the top left of it. Okay, now the origin's that, and what's the size, and how tall is it? And then I have something dependent on that one, and it just gets more complicated, view after view.
Well, even the code on that, like, I could basically understand what was going on.
And that's kind of the goal. And maybe we should talk about, kind of what designers are, thinking about this new move on more declarative, more like simple to understand code. Like, this is based off of Swift UI, but there's also Flutter and Jetpack Compose that we've been talking about. And all of those are getting simple enough where, like, this code right here is just for this border and that stuff. It's not functional code. So technically I don't have to write it or anything like that. So if a developer writes the functional code in the future and a designer comes in later and just does like, oh, configure block, and this is how it looks, and okay, this is the style and this is the font. I don't know. How do you guys feel like about like that just in general of, I mean, I guess I've always compared it as like the front end web. Designers are very comfortable with CSS, and kind of like this is the new CSS for, mobile web, or in the future more than just, mobile.
Like so. Swift UI will become that?
Well, no, Swift UI is that. Yeah, because it can go on Mac OS, it can go on Watch OS, and you can do the same thing with all the views. So, I mean, it's already kind of spiraled into that thing, and yeah, so I don't know. Like, do you feel comfortable diving into, like, the code and, like, either doing code or, clicking around on it?
In Swift UI, it's a lot like CSS, so I'm not like that worried about it. I feel like with anything there will be a learning curve, and it might not be like the standard for designers to use it for a while, just because things are slow. But I could see in the future where how it's could be similar to web, to where like, okay, designer mocks up or makes a wireframe, and then like they can start doing some of the front end and then hand it off. Or there's that middle person that does some of the front end that has design knowledge. I could see that happening with Swift UI for sure. I think I'd be comfortable with it, but like I feel like I'm a bit of an edge case with design just because I have more of a development background than a lot of designers I know. But that being said, this is not that hard to understand just looking at it.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the whole point, and going back to the whole thing of, componentizing everything, or, breaking down everything into simpler components. That's kind of where the move has been for mobile recently, for a huge shift in mobile. But yeah, it's really not that hard, and I hate to say it's not that hard, but like, I mean, if you can break down any element, we know this is, an element right here. of the file, edit, format, view, and help. And then these are all just buttons, and inside of these buttons are labels, and this is just space over here. So it's like, I mean, you can kind of visualize, and if you start, then you at least have a good step into understanding how to do stuff. I mean, if you see anything like this, it's just a horizontal stack with a label, spacer, and label. So it's really common, but this is more complex in other things like UIKit, where it's like, oh, I have to make a cell for this, and it's like, but all right, cool. So Sabian, do you want to talk on the metal tutorials? Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so something I've been interested in for a long time is shaders and graphics programming. I'm not running the show here. I'm on my computer, and we're talking over Discord. So I can't pull up the code unless Zach, you want to pull it up on GitHub. But basically, I've had experience with programming shaders in Unity, programming shaders in OpenGL, and recently I've started playing with them in Metal, which is Apple's version of shader programming. And so far, I've enjoyed it. The only good reference I found is either Apple's basically outline of the SDK, but it's not like an interactive documentation. So it's kind of a pain to handle. The other one is Ray Wenderlich's book, which is great about explaining the concepts, but it lacks examples. So you kind of have to, just like every other shader programming, you kind of have to learn things on your own, which is kind of a pain in the butt. But once you've played with shaders enough, you kind of get a feel for what will and will not work. You know that everything has to be shoved in a buffer and whatnot. You just have to figure out what the right parameters that you have to pass in and the naming of everything, syntax, all that jazz. So this project is basically an intro to metal shaders because there's nothing out there that really has a bunch of examples. So currently it allows you to, I believe, pass in vertices and make lines out of them, but I'd like to be able to hit on the majority of the shader functionality. Generating a mesh being like any 3D model, generating points, lines, all that jazz. Basically, full code examples that are modularized, so you can kind of just pull them out and make them however you want. But it's still kind of in the works. This came about because I'm giving a talk at the Swift meetup next week. I think that covers the most of it. It is all in Swift, which is nice.
Why don't you explain Metal to Susie?
Ooh, all right. To a dummy. Got it. Metal for dummies.
Hey. I'm better than your average bear. I'll give you that.
Metal has a few different portions to it. One is the underlying hardware that you don't have access to, such as the actual GPU. I mean, you can access the Metal device, but not like the scheduler that schedules when certain GPU operations are to take place, or the distributor that distributes vertices to the GPU to transform them. But then you have the exposed side that allows you to basically generate. Okay, so you have two main ways you can interact with the graphics card. You can transform vertices, and then you can transform the colors of the things that are done, right? So let's say I wanna render a triangle, right? So we pass in 3 points, and then we pass in indices. They basically say we have point 0, 1, and 2. So to make a triangle, we're gonna go clockwise. We're gonna go from point 0, 2.1, 2.2, and then that will make a triangle. And then the vertex shader would transform those points. So let's say you want to make your triangle grow or shrink or morph. You do that in the vertex shader. And then the fragment shader, this is where you'd handle all the coloring. So lighting, shading, or not shading, shadowing, all that jazz. So basically there's this render pipeline that goes from you passing in the vertices to formatting the vertices in a way that the GPU can handle them, to you manipulating the vertices in a vertex shader, to it breaking up the vertices into chunks that the fragment shader can hold, and then the fragment shader manipulates those fragments or triangles or squares, whatever the GPU is trying to handle at this point in time, coloring them the way you want, and then passing them to the rasterizer, which basically says, okay, you have this triangle, let's convert that to which pixels are which and color those pixels accordingly, and then send that to the GPU and say, hey, GPU, you have to render these things this way. That is the the most concise breakdown I can give.
That was so hard.
Yeah, that's like a Tuesday.
But yeah, so every graphics engine has some sort of render pipeline. Render pipeline meaning you pass in something and it spits out an image onto your 2D screen.
Okay.
Metals is just very, I want to say easy to work with. It just lacks documentation.
It's verbose and it's like it has a boilerplate, and all it is like once you get this set up, like we're looking in the render, like really most of this is set up. I just need to, send in more meshes or anything like that, or add more fragments. But like a lot of this stuff is just kind of, to go through the mesh of anything I send. So I don't need it's a triangle and that stuff.
Mesh is like the 3D stuff.
Yeah. So
a mesh is a list of vertices.
Any list of vertices with indices, right?
A mesh just has so a cube, right? A cube would have 8 vertices.
That's the 3D stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then for each face of the cube, you'd have 2 triangles. So for each triangle, you'd have 3 vertices. So for each face of the cube, you'd have 6 indices.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's the intro on that. But going off that, what originally we'd like to do is to kind of turn Sabian's talk in the future or anything like that into more of a website like this, where you can go and reference anything really quick, like, oh, I don't know what a guard does. Okay, cool. This is how you do it, for, metal, it would be. And it's, like, simple and, a little bit more.
That's literally like how W3 Schools is for web, but, like, for Swift.
Yeah, but there's really not anything for metal, and there's really limited...
There's literally nothing for metal. There's no good interactive documentation, nor is there good documentation coupled with examples. Like if you go to any of the Unity scripting APIs, it says, here's what a rigid body, here's like all the functions that it has, and then here's how you use one of those functions.
Number 2.
Sabian, if you type in Swift Metal Kit on Google, my article comes up as number 2 still. So you can just know there's not that much information on it.
Did you ever write a part 2?
I think I did. Oh, well, I don't work for this company anymore.
Damn.
I work for the sister company, and we don't do blogs. So.
Well.
I did Air Talk, and yes, I did a part 2. So, haha, we did get a 3D cube in.
Nice photo.
It's a GIF.
I know. I meant your profile.
Okay,
picture.
whatever.
GIF was nice as well.
All right. So enough of the metal tutorials.
Random question for you while I'm thinking about it.
Oh yes.
When does your git ignore kick in?
ASAP.
Once you push it up.
Like it's a commit past, and it's still picking up on all of my git ignored files, and it's.
You didn't do the git ignore right.
Yeah, potentially. As soon as you add the git ignore, it should already start like immediately doing it. You don't even have to push anything for that.
Just ignore the directory. You only have to ignore the directory. You can ignore file types, but just ignore the directory is like the easiest.
Build directories?
Yeah, build directories. Or like any,
temp directory is basically what it's freaking out about.
Well, yeah, just get it.
Anyway, sorry, that was off topic. I was pushing
websites for interactive SDK reference.
Is that the same thing we just saw?
I don't know. Sabian, what is this thing?
What thing?
Can you say it again?
I can't see it.
It's in direction channel, is it not?
Oh,
go.
Or no, streaming channel.
What is what thing?
Websites for interactive SDK references. It's at the bottom of your list.
Oh yeah, that was referencing the resource I posted for. I believe you were on it, the Swiftly thing.
So we did
But
it?
rather than just doing it for metal, I was thinking like maybe we do it for other things that don't have good documentation that people have experience with. So it's reaching out to other people maybe looking through introductions or just asking people like, hey, I know you have experience with this. You want to write articles? They could be oneleif blogs. They could just be Medium articles.
The design software we use at work could use that.
Mm-hmm.
Which one is it?
Acture.
What?
Yeah, see? No one's heard of it.
It's unnamed. Alright, so then I just got
Notepad++.
Notepad++.
Hey.
Do you have anything else before we talk about the controversial
we've come-
note map or note.
We've come close enough to becoming demonetized. Not that we're making money, but
Well, we're 18 plus with our demonetization, right?
okay. So the news is Notepad++ is hating on China,
That's one way to put it.
Word on the
like
street.
everyone else.
What have they done?
So their latest release they titled as free, and I don't know how to pronounce it probably. I call it UIKit, but I might be mispronouncing that.
So,
But that's how they named their latest release, their latest edition, right? And UIKit is a controversial thing that's in China right now. And so basically by naming the release as this guy's pretty much putting a stance on saying, like what China's doing with certain group of people is pretty much incorrect. And so what happened is the response from China, of course. A lot of the issues are spam issues from a lot of the Chinese folks, and they're kind of getting angry at this person. It's mainly one developer who works on this project anyways. So yeah.
Interesting.
It
Where's
was-
Notepad++ from?
I think the dude who developed it is from Germany.
Oh.
Possibly Germany or some other European place.
Dude, I use Notepad++ like all the time. I was adding the Getting Nord today, and I used Notepad++.
In school, like that's all they had on the machines for coding.
Yeah, I remember
apparently
it
we
from
couldn't
school.
afford IDEs for some reason.
just use Vim.
So I don't know. I found it interesting because like you don't really see a lot of developers take this kind of stance, and like the first question you'd ask yourself is like, why would any developer take a stance on this for like a project as big as Notepad++? So this guy actually wrote up his whole release notes kind of thing, and he explains it why he did it. So he has a pretty interesting take. If you guys are interested in read it for sure, but he's pretty vocal on like why he's supporting this issue and whatnot, and yeah, interesting person.
Very interesting. But
Cool
yeah,
guy.
there's a lot of.
The fact that he actually pulled
I'd
it
say over 100, almost like 200. It looks like they count up pretty quick. Jeez, that's ridiculous.
off. Yeah, it was pretty intense. But props to this person who's taking a stance for something.
Yeah, no.
Interesting.
Reputation of Notepad++.
I mean, if you have that big of a platform, you do have the potential to be very impactful.
Yeah.
So, it's interesting that they're using that for their own beliefs. I said that like a true politician.
Maybe one day.
All right, cool. Was there anything else?
Go to YouTube and search for One UI 2
Oh, and then the AirPods.
or that as well.
Oops.
Curious about your guys' opinion on this.
Okay.
I think this came out this week.
New phone.
Who dis?
Well, it's not a new phone technically, so let's just see what you guys think of it, I guess.
Let's see.
Okay, I guess that's just the channel
That
intro.
was I was really
I hope
impressed.
that's-
I was really impressed by
that
the
was nice.
5K.
That was
Did you
nice.
see the 5K at the
That's
beginning?
pretty-
Oh wait, that was an iMac.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to.
All the
You
different
guys were cutting out.
devices.
No, you're cutting out, Sabian.
Oh,
Great. Robot mode activated.
Wait, stop talking. We're on YouTube.
Alright, so
Huh?
they're just playing with lighting?
They're just playing with lighting.
Is this like the background of it?
That's interesting.
I have to guess One UI is on the right side, unless. Oh no, One UI is on the left side.
Yeah.
Oh, they actually did update the navigation.
So that's just their background mode and that kind of like the mirror.
Where's their back button?
They took it out.
But it's Android.
They've taken it out.
Dang.
There's the back button.
Oh. I was concerned for them.
Interesting.
These are the camera updates to One UI. I haven't even seen. I didn't know this was a thing.
I haven't had the opportunity to design much for Android, but that's one thing I always know is the back button is
Yeah,
on the
they-
device.
They took that out like
That was
a year
quick.
ago.
Okay, so it was.
Really?
I
That's
don't
all they
know.
need to register your face?
They just look at it?
They do a different face recognition.
That's so weird.
So what One UI technically is
What
just
about the side of your face? though?
Yeah. It's actually a 3D model.
they don't do 3D models, and
Uh,
they don't recommend it for like doing that kind of locking and unlocking mechanism. It's
Yeah.
more for just like the quickness. if
Yeah,
that
the
makes
quickness.
sense. So, like, for example, on my brother's phone, it also has Face ID, but you could enable it only if you're at home or something, or in some outside place. So it's quicker if you're at home and you can just unlock it. So One UI is basically like the UI design for Samsung, basically. So they released version 1 last year, and so One UI is like last year they rebranded heavily into like something like this. And so if you saw any phones prior to One UI, it was this really, really weird stereotypical Android device. That was like super colorful, bloated with software, weird, just more experience in general.
Yeah.
So One UI was a move towards like making it a little more slightly-ish cleaner, slightly-ish.
It does seem cleaner than what's on the right.
Yeah, slightly consistent. They have this idea where like they want to move more functionality towards the bottom of the screen. Because they have bigger phones as well, like the one on the right, technically.
Interesting.
That's kind of their idea. So it also includes like a lot of slightly more features, like you saw with the camera and whatnot.
From a UX standpoint, that might be nice because with these big phones, it's really hard to stretch your finger all the way to that edge.
Exactly.
Versus if it's just closer to you, what you want to do.
The Android 10 gestures are included in this, which are not the back button, aka the iOS gestures.
Yeah. Yeah, they have the little thing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I think it defaults to still the buttons. You can switch it to
Weird.
Oh,
the
you can
line.
switch it if you want. There's your Android customization.
You can switch it to the pill, which I use. I prefer the pill over this, but the line's pretty
that's
cool.
interesting. I don't like the double back swipe.
I can't believe that's still in, dude. The double back swipe does not make sense. So double back swipe is like we swipe back.
No, it's actually triple back because you can swipe from the bottom too.
Well, I don't even know what to say anymore.
He just did like, what's the one hand? What?
No, that was swiping the apps though.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean though. But like one-handed mode's weird.
Shortens the screen.
Oh, that's weird.
That's been on Android for a while, by the way. It's
but
I saw
I'm
it in,
just
like,
curious
a
on
really
like.
early prototype.
I mean, it makes sense to make it all, kind of black, because then you get the battery. But, like, you wouldn't think to add, like, notifications or, like, widgets or anything, like, kind of, like, else in one-handed mode for, like, visual kind of, like... Because, like, one-handed mode just seems like, okay, I want to use this rarely in one-handed mode, versus, like, it doesn't seem like a mode where I'd, like, want to use it outside of, like, the very limited case of that.
Yeah.
So it's, like, I don't know, like...
Honestly, this view right here, their front screen's really... It's pretty clean from a UX standpoint, because, like, everything you want to do is right there at the bottom, and then I'm assuming you use Google Assist a lot, at least on this phone, so boom, it's right there. And then that top part you can probably customize to whatever you want.
Yeah, and I think maybe they added this in the launchers, but you can, like, swipe down from anywhere on the screen as well, so you don't have to, like, be physically on the top as well. And it doesn't matter which side you are, because they don't have notches anyways, so it could be either way.
That's
so you
cool.
can technically handle the entire thing from, like, not having to stretch.
That's a good solution.
That's interesting.
The little phone inside the big phone's still kind of strange, but...
Yeah.
That's just because I don't use it most likely. Whoa. Okay, that's pretty normal.
So they still have, like, their basically Samsung skin over everything in a way. Like, a lot of the animations that you're seeing and, like, the dialogues, even the sliders, all those, like, UI elements are all, like, Samsung specific as well.
Those sliders are interesting, how it gets bigger and grows when you're moving it, so you can see it.
That's interesting. So it was kind of interesting to see that.
Yeah, no.
Sure.
AirPods or
AirPods.
You want to talk about AirPods?
AirPods
Sabian,
Pro.
take off the conversation about AirPods. Go.
Dude, did you guys see the new phone case?
The leather one?
No, it's a phone case that like it has a cord going from your phone to AirPods. Like your AirPods fit into your phone case and they charge from your phone.
I was like wired earphones basically then for the AirPods.
No, they're not wired, but like instead of having to carry around the AirPods case, your AirPods just fit into your phone case and they charge from your phone.
Well, that was the feature for wireless charging, right?
Oh.
Like you're able to like put the AirPods on the back of your
it's
phone.
like a little pocket. It's like a kangaroo carrying its...
Oh.
Yeah, it's literally like a kangaroo.
That's way different than I thought it was. Never mind.
That's its little baby spawn. It's kind of
How big
ugly.
is that, though?
That's so ugly.
Oh, they need to design that better.
I really
It
want
looks
That's
like a
interesting,
growth, like an alien growth.
Did you see the new AirPods?
to pull it up.
Sabian? No? Okay.
The like $250 ones.
Yep.
No, they're the AirPods Pro.
Yep.
They
I
happen
pulled
to be
these up.
$250 if you're in the
They're
United
awesome.
States, but they're more expensive outside the United States. So
Dude.
don't say.
They're awesome.
Ooh.
If you pull up this website on your phone, you can do AR. It's pretty fun.
Really?
I
Mm-hmm.
don't know that.
I did
what
that
kind of
earlier.
AR can you do?
It's just you see the case, them in the case, and you can
Oh,
like
nice.
rotate it and
That's neat.
put it wherever you want.
The biggest thing that I wanted from the AirPods Pro is the noise canceling.
And didn't they do that with this?
Yep. And
Yep.
they work fantastic.
So what's the worst thing about this, or the thing that they missed out on this version?
I don't know if the battery life is the same, and I wonder if like they could have pushed the battery life if it wasn't upgrade of like that much. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like if you're adding noise canceling and like better
That's
sound
such a
quality,
big
like
thing.
It is. I
24
think.
hours still,
I think
it's
it's
still pretty
better. Up to. Yeah, I think it's actually
Oh.
1 hour better than mine.
That's
the
nice.
first edition.
Yeah.
I don't know about the
do you
second.
have the wireless charging ones or?
No,
Okay.
no, I have the first.
Pretty
But-
sure the first
Holy
two.
crap, that's good.
They're pretty crazy. Yeah, it works with. So I can charge them with my phone. Right?
Yeah, you should be able to.
Yeah, that's it.
I haven't.
So these will wireless charge?
These ones are defaulted to wireless. I think so. That's what Michael said at least.
That's cool.
Lightning to USB-C.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Would you get them, Sabian?
Dude, I buy them.
I would. Yep, I'm probably going to at some point. I don't know.
I might.
I just need to.
To
I
give
still
you a
have mine.
comparison, I paid $300 for my Bose, and parts have said they have as good noise cancellation as my Bose. So if you are comfortable with these, like, I could see this being way more casual. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, they're
It
also
was-
way more comfortable than wearing like over-the-ear headphones.
I'd have to try them on first.
I don't know. That's the whole debate of if you want to clean out the earbuds, and that's like the main thing that I don't want to get these is because my Bose, I don't have to clean out my ear gunk.
That is a good point.
I mean, you can get like a lot of those for really cheap money.
But how do you
You
feel
know-
about the price? Like Sabian said, the $250 ones.
I don't think it's that bad because of the
I
things that
don't
it comes
think
with:
that bad
noise
either.
cancellation, audio sharing. What's the other big thing? I think the comfort is also a really big plus. I feel like they adapted to more of the mainstream look and feel, with like the actual like gummy.
They're smaller, but they're more heavy, I heard, which is cool. I like how they're smaller. You know, it's less like dangling down like a, you know, an earring or a white
I
earring.
used to hate earbuds with the little plastic, that part.
The nub or like
Yeah.
the rubber thing.
Yeah, so I wonder if I would like this or not like this because of that.
Do either of you guys like work out with the AirPods?
With my AirPods.
I
Yeah,
did.
I have.
I did.
They
And
stay in well.
I do.
Did you guys
stay
see
in
the
well, so-
you know how you can get like the little the Bluetooth headphones that are they have like the little wire attached between them,
Yeah.
Mhm.
so you can like put them around your neck or whatever. There was a $20 adapter that came out for AirPods that you can do that, and there was a big Reddit discussion about like why would I pay for AirPods without wires when I can just buy headphones with wires.
That's funny.
When we...
They didn't come out from Apple, obviously. It was a third party, but you know, the biggest thing that does bother me about the AirPods is that the repairs on them are supposed to be awful. They're literally like once the battery like dies, like you can't get them repaired or anything.
That sucks. But
Wow.
I mean,
It's $50 per earbud for the battery service.
I haven't heard
Once
of
you're out of warranty.
anyone having to get theirs repaired,
Same. I haven't heard that either.
but what do I know?
I'm curious on like, are there other earbuds that do noise canceling in that size? Because I know like,
Did Bose? When we were
because the
buying
Bose
ours?
does headphones, but do earphones do like noise canceling? I'm curious on that.
There's this guy at my workplace that's like super into music and like he has these crazy headphones. He's
Yeah, it looks
so
like
cursed.
they're gonna be wired though.
Yeah.
So
Bose
that's
has some-
interesting.
some
Bose are
noise canceling ones.
250.
Yeah, they're
Nice.
similar. I think what Apple offers over them is the integration with iOS,
And
like
no
the audio
wire.
sharing and whatnot. Like you and your buddy can watch the same movie from your phone
Yeah.
or your iPad.
Yeah. Well, I guess Bose has that too. It's just
Oh,
you
do
have to download the Bose app.
This is sleeker
Oh, okay.
looking.
Yeah, this is all built in, and it's like built into that. So I mean, yeah, you're right on that. I mean, that's
Okay,
the same argument
the
if
Bose
you get
ones do
Beats.
look ugly.
So you want me to argue that you should get Beats?
Oh,
Because
Lord.
Beats have the same tech in them that
AirPods.
AirPods do.
Ooh, over the air.
Yeah.
Without the wire.
Your Beats with Lightning connector. And that's only $60 and you get a Lightning connector. Boom. But I don't know. It's really interesting because you get the same experience as the AirPods as with these Powerbeats Pro, and the Powerbeats Pro are only $200.
I feel like Beats is more of a fashion thing at this point. Dude.
Yeah. How comfortable can that thing around your ear be?
Ask the Android people; they have those all the time.
And does that stay on?
Yes.
Over the ear?
Yeah.
So I've had over the ear ones like once in my life. They do stay on, but like
earbuds. There's like a really popular pair earbuds. It's like around the neck ones. You know?
Oh, those are horrible.
I've seen those so much, and I hate to isolate them to like Android and that stuff. But yeah, like any of these, like
these ones are horrible. These are the
Bose.
Yeah, no, the ones which have like this literal neck thing.
Oh, well, the Bose is different because they have like a sound bar on your neck. It's weird.
It's so weird.
Oh yeah, but okay, enough about AirPods are cool. AirPod Pros, I would probably get. I don't know. I'm just gonna write out my Bose as long as I can.
Yeah.
I can say some stuff about the AirPods just because like so today.
You've tried them.
Yeah, my coworker who got them today, he's letting me use his older AirPods for like today and tomorrow to see if I want to get them or not. And they're awesome, but it sucks that I tried these on the AirPods Pro, and then I know how good these are, and I'm like, dang, I could just like buy these at this point.
Yeah.
But the thing I didn't like about the AirPods is that like, I don't know how rather that like features are limited to just iOS, considering that they're still like just hardware. Like, if you like one of the cool features is like if I take off one, then the music pauses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Technically, that's only the iOS, which I don't understand how they did that. Like technically, it's just like it should just be soft, like
yeah,
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
But it doesn't work on Mac OS like that.
I didn't even care about the Mac.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
But it's like the AirPods. This was like the first time I experienced like complete wireless earphones, right?
Oh yeah.
Like I run with wire.
That's the easy part. Is like you'd have noise canceling in half of your ear, and it would be completely wireless.
Yeah, like my headphones are wired at work, and then I run with wired earphones as well. But having like wireless AirPods for once is a game changer. It was like pretty free. Like your head feels really free for once.
Yeah, no. And I was pretty happy with the sound on the normal AirPods.
Yeah, the normal AirPods were nice. It's just that I could hear so much of the outside, which was kind of weird.
The only thing that bothers me about normal headphones is when I'm sitting at my desk and I turn my chair to like react to somebody, and my headphones like yank or like get caught on like the arms of my chair.
Sure.
It's like, God damn it!
Yeah, wired ones are definitely I think I've moved away from them.
Getting phased out.
I don't think I would ever get wired ones at this point.
Oh, for sure.
Honestly.
My phone doesn't even take wired anymore.
Yeah, they don't work
Like
with my phone.
Yeah.
It literally just has to be for work.
Which I was so surprised that the Mac. So my Mac was upgraded like 3 weeks ago. I'm surprised that the newer MacBooks have like the auxiliary cable still in them.
Yeah, I know.
Like out of all things, I'm like, you guys have 4 USB-C ports, but 1 auxiliary cord. Dongle life, man. Dongle life is pretty hard with the new MacBooks. But I really liked these AirPods. They're honestly pretty cool.
Someone hasn't been looking at the stream chat, I'm guessing.
Boy.
What's been going on?
I see the stream chat now.
Some hellos are going on.
What's going on in the stream chat?
Sarah says hi, and Omar says hi.
Can we say bye?
We can say
So
hello.
we say bye then?
Yeah, that's the awkward part. So is there anything else to talk about? I don't think we have anything in the chat for specific things to talk about, except for bye. We'll give a few seconds. Was there anything in the Discord that popped up or anything else that we should talk about before we get off? Other than that,
I don't think so.
It's always good to leave more for the next stream, so...
Yeah. Let us fill that full hour up.
3 viewers.
So we got 3 minutes for that hour? Oh, technically we started 2 minutes before, right?
Yeah. So we did go for an hour.
That's nice.
But, alright. Anything else, Sabian?
Are you guys anything for Halloween?
No, it looks like we're good.
No.
Halloween plans?
I already did
Halloween,
that.
I'm streaming.
Spooky Halloween, guys. Spooky
I did
design.
that work.
Spooks. Yeah. Alright. Anything else? Well, alright. Well, thank you for listening in. If you have anything, make sure to post it in direction, or streaming for us to talk about in the next streaming episode. Sabian reminder we need to get up the YouTube video for Wayne. And
It's on your phone.
well, we need to edit it. I'm not just putting it up.
Yeah. I need to watch it to make sure the audio is even okay.
Yeah, we'll see. But all right, cool. Well, signing off.
Bye.
Bye.
Happy Halloween.